Well, it's great to see all of you. We've been very excited about this evening. This is my favorite program of the SHJ, and it's really an honor to be honoring the Witkins tonight. We have participants in this evening's event, Susan Ryan, Dan Wyman, Paul Golan, and of course, our honorees. I will start by saying Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're thrilled that we can be together to honor Devera and Michael.
Yes, yes.
As the 2023 recipients of the Sherwin T Lifetime Achievement Award. Welcome to all of you attending from wherever you reside in the world, and Devera and Michael's friends at the city congregation and in New York City, and all reaches of the world that they go to. Shabbat for us is a time of transition. We leave behind the worries and the concerns of everyday life and focus ourselves on this special Shabbat experience. We, at this moment, in this time, create an opportunity for community and for appreciation. Let us pause and take note as we begin our celebration. Susan. I lost Susan. There she is up in the corner. There you go. You're still silenced, honey.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Okay.
Let's try this again. The Sabbath candles stand before us, as did the lamps of our ancestors. As the daylight disappears, we light these candles to bring light to this gathering. We participate in this ancient ritual and make our unique contribution to the traditions of the Jewish people, L'dor v'dor, from generation to generation. Baruch ha'or ba'olam, Baruch ha'or ba'adam, Baruch ha'or ba'Shabbat. Radiant is the light in the world. Radiant is the light within people. Radiant is the light of Shabbat.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, we're going to bless the wine. Now we raise this cup of wine, mindful of all it took for us to receive it. We appreciate the sun and rain, the gifts of nature. We value the efforts of our fellow human beings, aware of the human sacrifice involved to produce it. We know that wine exists because of the luck of the right amount of each element of nature combined with human effort. We're thankful for the endeavors of all human beings working responsibly with the natural environment to bring forth this wine. Baruchim ha'adama, ha'shemesh ve'hagashem, asher yotzrim pri hagafen, l'chaim. We rejoice in the earth, the sun, and the rain, which produces the fruit of the vine. Chaim.
Thank you. A cantor and everything. I wanted to explain a little bit about the award. This Lifetime Achievement Award is presented annually to individuals who have, and I quote, over the years exemplified extraordinary dedication, devotion, adherence to, and activity in the Secular Humanistic Judaism Movement, and the philosophical doctrines enunciated by the movement's founder, Rabbi Sherwin T. The award, established by SHJ and past President Bert Steinberg of blessed memory, it was established in 2003 in honor of wine's 75th birthday, and it represents Steinberg's heartfelt gratitude at finding a humanistic Jewish community that reflected his lifelong philosophy an unfulfilled need to become a bar mitzvah. Steinberg fulfilled his dream at the age of 72 under Wine's tutelage. And I'm going to turn this over to Paul Golan, who will present the award.
Hi, everybody. Hello, Devera and Michael. We have a formal proclamation that Miriam will read momentarily, but I just wanted to kind of speak informally for a moment. When I first met the Witkins, I didn't know I was a humanistic Jew yet. And they, perhaps as much as anybody, perhaps along with Rabbi Adam Shalom, who had invited me to speak at a colloquium over a decade ago, where I first met the Witkins, are responsible for helping me recognize this really important part of my own identity. And I'm very thankful for that. And I know I'm not the only one, I don't think, who learned that you can combine a Jewish cultural, ethnic identity and have humanistic values and have them be compatible by seeing how the Witkins live their values and the way that they share, how it's so meaningful to them. So one thing that I really appreciate about you that I wanted to share is the way that you volunteer your time to spread the word. It isn't just, oh, we found something meaningful for ourselves. It's we found something meaningful for ourselves that other people may also benefit from. So let's tell people, let's spread the word. And I appreciate really that generosity of spirit. And the other aspect of your personal outreach mission that I really appreciate is your ongoing quest to find new ways to reach people with humanistic Judaism. So it's not just, we found something meaningful for ourselves in this format, so that's all we're going to offer. It's, you're always thinking about new ways people might connect to humanistic Judaism. And I think many who are here with us today know that you host, for example, an ongoing secular Talmud class. But for me, the thing I've seen that I also, really love is the desire to utilize technology to go where the people are, right? To do outreach. Michael had me working with him on Google AdWords over a decade ago, and trying to determine whether cultural was a better word than secular. I don't think we ever figured that one out. I'm not sure that, I think the jury is still out on that. But, not just for our movement, but in the organized Jewish community, I think that was ahead of the curve to try to utilize technology to help spread the word. And the Witkins put together this beautifully produced video, right? 10 years before TikTok, that is still on SHJ's homepage. And it was out of an understanding that we need to speak in a modern language to get more people to hear how important this might be. And all of that is much riskier than relying on what's already been done, to try something new. And to me, that's what leadership is about. And that's why I appreciate your leadership so much. I think humanistic Judaism has benefited tremendously from your leadership. And it's an honor to be able to present you with the Sherwin T. Wine Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations. I'm handing it to you through the screen. And now magically, you will hold it up. And there it is. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Miriam has the formal testimonial now.
I just wanted to say personally that I guess, Michael, you've been the teacher of Google AdWords to a number of people. And I was the recipient of that education. But what was really meaningful for me, you finally said, look, we've got to get something out there on the internet. And so you came with your camera to Detroit and to my home and asked me questions and talk about getting me outside my, comfort zone just a little bit. But I can still, when I listen to them, I still hear your voice behind saying, well, Rabbi, what do you think about Rosh Hashanah for humanistic Jews? So, you know, it's there forever. And I so appreciate the relationship that the three of us developed over that and many other things. Very important to me. So I'm going to read our proclamation. It's very formal. Because Michael and Devera Witkin have been longtime leaders in the humanistic Judaism movement, both nationally and at the local level in New York City. Because the Witkins have been a driving force for greater outreach and engagement, particularly by encouraging our movement to adapt new technologies and utilize online and social media. Because Michael and Devera Witkin are creative and innovative thinkers and have engaged others to also think outside the box. Because Devera and Michael have championed Jews for a secular democracy, SHJ's pluralistic initiative defending separation of religion and government. Because Michael and Devera are willing to support new programming that is groundbreaking to make sure others who share our view have an opportunity to become part of the exciting projects that they value. Because the Witkins not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk. Because Michael and Devera Witkin are passionate about and dedicated to the vision, mission, and values of humanistic Judaism, we, the leaders and members of the Society for Humanistic Judaism, are thrilled to name Devera and Michael Witkin the 2023 recipients of the Sherwin T. Wine Lifetime Achievement Award with our gratitude. You're on.
Yay. Thank you, Paul, for your over-the-top introduction and for doing the hard work to build our movement. And Miriam, there will never be enough thank yous for your contributions to our movement and to us personally. We are humbled by this award. Thank you from deep in our hearts for this honor. We feel fortunate to have met and spoken with Rabbi Wine in 2006 when he installed Rabbi Peter Schweitzer as our first paid rabbi. Sherwin was a dynamo, and it meant so much to us to have the opportunity to engage with him. Receiving this honor in his name is really mind-blowing for us. During our years on the SHJ board, we attended many of these award ceremonies. We were mentored by many of the previous recipients. Their achievements and gravitas were and are impressive. But most of all, we could sense their devotion to the humanistic Jewish movement was just so intense. We have been guided by them and by the lifelong friends we've made as members of the city congregation, and recently as well as members of Machar. Michael and I were both raised in Jewish families, jointly from the spectrum of Orthodox, conservative, and Reform. We were married by a progressive conservative rabbi in Palo Alto, California, as a concession to our parents. But also, we had never heard of another way to be Jewish. We spent the first half of our married lives attending Hillels and local conservative and Reform synagogues for the high holidays. We always felt very uncomfortable with the liturgy, to say the least. After moving to San Francisco, we saw ads for the San Francisco Jewish Week for the humanistic Jewish congregation across the bay. But the idea of driving an hour and a half in heavy freeway traffic on the weekend was out of the question for us. We moved to New York City in 2001 and also moved my mother from Virginia to live with us. In 2004, the year after my mama died, we saw an ad in the New York Times for the city congregation's high holiday services, and we attended the Yom Kippur services. Quite honestly, we were moved to tears at the service, which gave us the opportunity to express our beliefs in a truthful manner in public for the first time. To say we had found our lifelong Jewish community is an understatement. We joined immediately after. At a new member event, Rabbi Peter talked about how dependent our congregation was on volunteer help. His talk was meaningful to us, and we volunteered to help out in areas we had expertise in, like sales and marketing. At the time, not even imagining how deep into this beautiful movement volunteering would take us.
With all our hearts, we believe that our movement, Secular Humanistic Judaism, is the way to be Jewish, to do Jewish things, to get your Jew on in the here and now. How else can one be Jewish and at the same time an atheist and be part of a community that addresses and embraces this contradiction? Secular Humanistic Judaism changed our lives for the better. When we joined, we became part of a Jewish community, became part of any community for the first time as adults. We are grateful. And we think there are many others who would find meaning by engaging with our communities. But this ideological perfection that we built has not been enough to make us meaningful or significant in the Jewish world. In 2012, at the IISHJ conference in Evanston, the one that Paul referred to earlier, Rabbi Shalom introduced us to Paul Golan, who 4 years later would become our executive director. At that conference, Paul spoke of the potential market for humanistic Judaism. A large and growing number of Jews, intermarried, unaffiliated, and unchurched. He had a vision of what it would take for secular humanistic Judaism to become meaningful for a greater number of this large group of Jewish people. Paul said we needed to be more than a club of lucky Jews who had found a spiritual and ideological home. We needed to express our beliefs and values in terms of social justice, tikkun olam, by contributing to the well-being of all. How prescient was it that Paul would understand Christian nationalism manifest in Operation Blitz as a preeminent threat to our religious freedom, and that standing up to that threat was integral to the growth of humanistic Judaism. This was just as Trump was legitimizing and mainstreaming white Christian national extremists. Is that national extremists, Christian national extremists. So we took this concept to the streets of Manhattan to see how it played under a tent. Well, it didn't go viral. It's been a grind. The long and arduous process of building infrastructure. 7 years in, we built a solid team of organizers engaging in a half a dozen states, most of them battlegrounds. This year, we were instrumental in the repeal of Michigan's 1931 law banning abortion. We need your help. We're asking our SHJ communities to get behind Jews for a Secular Democracy, to host Jews for a Secular Democracy programs in your communities, and to remind members of the opportunity for Tikkun Olam. And donations would be nice. Stand with us against those who would take away women's right to control their own bodies, enforce Christian prayer in our schools, remove literature from our libraries, and cancel our rights to same-sex marriage. Please reach out to Paul or Miriam to find out how you can engage your community to support this critically important SHJ initiative. And please put Jews for a Secular Democracy on your end of year giving list. Thank you again for this honor. Shabbat Shalom.
Devera and Michael, that was so inspirational. I feel like I want to join this organization. Oh, wait. But your heartfelt expression of connection is really powerful and meaningful to all of us. And the people here are testimony to your outreach and the connections that you've made in our movement. Before we sing our final song, I wanted to tell you that I am willing to stay online with you for some time. We'll open it all up so people can give you their personal congratulations and you can respond. And see, you put it away. We also give a beautiful gift. And we just thought that this would be really, really special for Michael and Devera. It says, Tzedek, tzedek tirdof, justice, justice you shall pursue, from Deuteronomy. And boy, two people exemplify that statement, and more powerfully, the two of you, than many, many others. So Dan Wyman volunteered to sing us out. But as most of you know, singing in a group on Zoom is difficult, if not horrifying. So I'm going to hope that all of you mute yourself so that we can sing.
Oh, you muted too.
I muted too soon. I know, I muted too soon. I was so excited to mute myself so I could sing. Anyways, so if you all mute yourself, and Dan, thank you so much for volunteering to do this and participating, and Susan, of course, and Paul, and all of you who attended.
Oh, it's really my honor. I'll just say we have actually a tradition of celebrating the Witkins with music. This is going back about 13 years ago, very soon after I moved to New York with my two daughters, Yelena and Adriana. We had Michael and Devera over. It was Michael's birthday, and my daughters were in junior high. They were in the junior high band. And so, of course, Yelena came out with her trumpet, and at about age 13, I think, played Happy Birthday to Michael on her trumpet. So I'm not sure I can quite live up to that, but I'm going to try here. Yeah, it is good to mute. There's a weird delay that happens in Zoom, but I'm hoping muting does not mean that you won't sing along. I'm hoping that you'll sing at the top of your lungs. We're going to be singing Peace Be With You, a humanistic Jewish standard. It's what we call a zipper song, which means there's just one word that changes with each verse. We start with peace be with you. The next verse is love be with you. Finally, joy be with you. Final verse, slightly different, but I think you'll pick up Shalom Aleichem. Hope you'll sing along. Well, peace be with you wherever you go. Peace be with you, whatever you do. Peace be with you till we meet again. Peace be with you, my friend. Love be with you wherever you go. Love be with you. Whatever you do, love be with you till we meet again. Love be with you, my friend. Joy be with you wherever you go. Joy be with you. Whatever you do, joy be with you till we meet again. Joy be with you, my friend. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom. Congratulations, Michael and Devera.
Thanks, Dan.
It was lovely.
It
Thank
was
you.
really wonderful.
I-
Those,
I just want to say, I am so amazed at seeing all of you. I'm really moved. It's some of you I have not seen in a very long time, and it's really spectacular to see you all. Thank you for taking the time to come and see us and honor us.
if you, we will save the meeting chat if Paul reminds me how to do it. And if you would like to unmute or raise your hand, I'll call on you so you can say what you'd like to say to Devera and Michael. And Devera, I wrote in the chat somewhere, happy birthday to you yesterday.
You.
Really, a group of humanistic Jews and nobody wants to say anything?
So this just confirms my feeling of many years that when we get together, it feels like a family gathering of the best kind. And it's better than any family gathering that I've ever been to. So thanks for the warm Hamish feelings of being together. And Devera and Michael, thank you for all you do.
Thank you for
Thank you,
for
Sheila.
coming, Sheila.
I do want to say one more thing. I do want to say, which not everybody knows, that the first 3 people that Michael and I met at the city congregation on that eventful Yom Kippur were Susan Ryan, Jim Ryan, and Jamie Ryan. Now, who was a little teeny kid, and now he's going to be getting married. So we've been around for a while.
Susan, go ahead.
You beat me to it, Devera. I was going to say that we sat with you at the break fast after that Yom Kippur service, and James was really little. And I'm just really glad that that we met you, that you stuck around, and that we count you among our dear friends. And just so people know, Devera was also James's mentor for his bar mitzvah. So our relationship with the Witkins as a family goes back a long way. And they're gonna come to James's wedding this summer. So it's kind of a big full circle thing, but I'm just so glad that we have you in our lives and congratulate you so much on this well-deserved award. And we are just lucky, lucky, lucky that we know you.
Thank you,
So
sweetie.
thank you for taking on the awful job of the presidency of city congregation.
It's not that bad.
Anybody who could be secretary for as many years as Susan was deserved the presidency.
Okay.
I don't have to take notes anymore. That's the best part.
as well as their, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. On a personal level, we're all aware of the wonderful contributions the Witkins have made. But, I must say that when COVID hit, I live alone, and I was stayed alone in my apartment. And for a year and a half, I didn't see anyone in person, didn't talk to anyone in person. But the Witkins called me. They knew that somewhere, they sensed that it was the telephone that kept me in touch with people and really kept me going. And I think they had a little list, actually, and I was on that list because I think they were good to many people. And I got calls from them once or twice a week, at least, during that whole period, which was so important. And of course, we had hours-long conversations that were wonderful and meant so much, and were really just basically so important for my mental health and for our friendship. And I'm sure there are others who can tell you the same thing about them. Truly good people.
Thank you, Sybil.
Thank you, Sybil.
Our conversations with you were meaningful for us as well in the same way.
I'm glad.
John.
Hi. I just wanted to say that, I've appreciated working with you so much through the years. The things that we've talked about and that I learned were significant, but I think that even more important than that is the amount of fun and good feeling, good fellowship that you guys bring with you. I really appreciate that, and I think that this award being given to you is just so deserving. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for sharing.
I see two other past recipients, Deb Godden and Andrea Friedlander. There may be others, but this is a limited screen and I can't find my participants list. So, Peter, I saw you had your hand up.
You're muted, Peter.
Muted on the screen, but my mic was open, so I got to coordinate that. Nevertheless, as we move on to sports, actually, I had a email the other night from older, longtime member of the city congregation. Many of you may remember Nikki and Hank Greenberg. They're in New Jersey, and they wanted me to forward this. Not sure if they were able to go on or getting with the technology, but they wrote to Devera and Michael a well-deserved thank you for who you are and what you do. With admiration, Nikki and Hank Greenberg. So I will tell them, since I'm back to emailing them, knowing that they're up and at them. They can't always go on the technology or certainly in person, but I'm going to echo what Hank and Nikki said, Devera and Michael, and I'll second that motion by those New Jersey residents. So Mazel Tov again.
Thank you.
I should also add, as an addendum, one of the biggest highlights of with city congregation, what they contributed is the secular Talmud, which is one of the most enriching, amazing experiences of getting into a different level of Judaism, of Jewishness. I would never expect to have gone into. And it's been how many years now? 8 years, 9 years, 130, what?
Yeah, 8 years, 8 or 9.
8 years, 8 years. Well, it seems like 120. No, I'm kidding. But it was really wonderful.
It's 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Oh, okay. And it's what, and those who are in the class that are on here, I think they'll echo that sentiment too, that it's an amazing experience. So again, thank you.
We have a great turnout from the Talmud class tonight. Like almost half of us are here.
And yet none of us are arguing over Rabbi Akiva or Rabbi or.
Thank you, Peter.
Jillian, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Hi, I just wanted to thank Devera and Michael for everything they've done for our community, and just, of course, share a beautiful personal story that I know Devera knows that what I'm going to share. Many years ago, when I lived in Lower Manhattan, and so did the Witkins, we lived a few blocks away, and I was pregnant, and I was a single mom. I didn't have anybody to go with me when my daughter was born. And of course, Devera generously volunteered, and she was absolutely wonderful. Like, as a former nurse, she was so calm, and she was so wonderful and supportive. And I will always be grateful that she was there. She was just so wonderful that day. And I also remember another just personal highlight during that time. I remember going over to their lovely loft. It was on Bond Street, right? I think Bond Street, right? I remember your beautiful loft on Bond Street. And I remember going over to your house for, it was lunch or dinner one day. And I remember one of the best things was seeing your photo album from years ago, from the 70s. And I remember you shared the beautiful story of how you met. I remember, I loved it. Can I tell it? Do you want to tell it or not tell it?
Go on, Jillian.
You told me that you met through a computer dating service. When was it? 1979 or 1980, something like that. I remember, and I remember seeing the photos of you, and Devera had a beautiful perm and Michael had hair, I believe. And it was just, yeah, I really enjoyed getting to hear your stories of your life in San Francisco and everything like that. So just wanted to thank you again for that. It was just such a lovely experience. And then we all moved to different boroughs, and I hope in a few years you will come to Maddie's bat mitzvah, either online or in person. I really hope.
Forward to that. Thank you so much, Jillian, for sharing.
Thank you for everything.
Isabel.
Michael and Devera, I just want to say congratulations. And for people who don't know, I've done many different roles at the city congregation, just like they both have. And we've worked together a lot over many years, doing many different things. And in addition to everything that has been said so far, you know, I also find you to be an inspiration, because you just get an idea and you make things happen. And we have tried to do a lot of things over the years, being board members. You know, there are many things that have to get done. Some of them are not that exciting. And one of the things that I truly appreciate about both of you is that you get things done. You know, we make a plan, we figure out what to do, and you do your part. And it's just a very, you know, it sounds very mundane and everyday, but it's just such an important thing in an organization where everybody's volunteering. Everybody has other things in their life and they're busy, and it's hard to get everything done. And your commitment and your just being willing to just do it is so special and so effective in moving us forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you. Who's on the second page?
Am I missing anyone? Well, it's with a full heart that I congratulate Michael and Devera for the incredible contribution that they've made to humanistic Judaism, and to thank all of you for being here with us, and wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And for those of you on the SHJ board, I'll see you tomorrow for our December board meeting. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Congratulations again.
Congratulations. Shabbat Shalom.
Good
Shabbat
night.
shalom.
Congratulations. Shabbat shalom.
Congratulations.
Good night.
Well deserved.
See my SHJ peeps tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.